All right. Victory. Victory. Victory Monday. Sorry, I woke the kids. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Breaking Down the Game. We're on episode 11. Isles, the pack is back.
Thank God.
Magic attack.
Thank God. Thank God.
Yeah, it's been 5 weeks of frustration. And, I don't need to tell you that, and I don't need to tell all the other Packer fans out there. It's been a difficult 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So before we get started, please, like, comment, and subscribe. Not only to this channel, but to the channels of the Pack Attack. All their channels will be linked in the description. So, Isles, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
Really good, actually. Really good. What a fun game yesterday to watch, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we were all mildly surprised at how well things went. So, let's get right into it. Let's talk about this game. We flushed the frustration. Isles, what do you think the Packers as a team feel today on this Victory Monday?
I think relief is probably the number one thing, right? I think that when you start doing bad, it really gets in your head space and you start to fight, like you're saying, the demons, or Roger's saying the demons, and there's a lot of doubt and looking for answers. And when things aren't going right, you're just consistently frustrated, almost concerned that you're not going to find it again. And yesterday, I just felt like this general looseness. I don't know how it came about, right? But they just played loose. Kind of
like you feel after you take like one of those magical dumps in the morning, right?
Exactly right. Where you're just like you're flushing the frustration down the toilet. Yeah, good segue.
Bring that all around, buddy.
But yeah, it really did it not? I mean, it felt like all of a sudden, like that, I was watching last year's Packer team again. That's what it felt like to me. It was just like, we can run the ball, we can convert third downs on little passes. The defense is getting us off the field when we want them to. We're getting a pick here and there. It just felt like old times. It felt really wonderful, and it was a fun game to watch. It was nice to see Mike take off the headphones and slam those cocksuckers down. Where's the masseuse?
Where's the masseuse? I need a massage.
Exactly.
He forgot for a minute that he doesn't work at Lambeau anymore. So.
Yeah.
It's
what
like
do you think?
It's like we had 5 weeks of eating really crappy food. P.F. Chang's good stuff, stuff like that. And finally, we just evacuated our bowels of all that noxious, nasty, disease-filled excrement.
Yeah.
And flushed it away, All right, maybe I'm going a little heavy on this, but I think you get what I mean. We've been super frustrated, and it was like a breath of fresh air. There was a type of energy that I haven't seen from this team in the last few weeks. And boy, it really was fun to see. It was fun to watch. And I'll tell you what, I even told the guys in the Pack Attack in a chat, there was just something I felt yesterday in the early afternoon. I said, I smell a win. I'm smelling it. I don't know why. I had no reason to think that the Packers were going to come out and win, but they did. It was just a gut feeling. So even a broken clock is right twice a day. So
did you feel, by the way, like, because I certainly did, but the game changed my perspective of this year's Packers so much that when they were down by 14, I kind of had this feeling like we still got a really good chance to win this game. Whereas 2 weeks ago, if that was happening, it's just like you wouldn't have had that feeling. Did you feel that same way? Like, and again, I feel like it was because it was like almost like last year, that same team that could just come back and pull anything
Well,
off.
to be honest with you, Isles, I really didn't get that feeling. What I did feel is a huge sense of frustration. And, I started thinking really negatively when Amari Rogers fumbled that punt
Oh,
return because that was a perfect position. We were going to get the ball in good field position with a
yeah.
tie game, and we'd be looking to take control of the game. But instead of doing that, Amari fumbled it away.
God damn it, fucking Amari Rogers. You fucking suck. You cocksucker motherfucker. You need to go. You need to go right the fuck now. You are the biggest fucking bust ever. I fucking hate you.
So with that said, Isles, I want to talk about another thing that we touched on last week. Were we a little hard on Gutenkunst?
Mm.
Now, last week, I kind of went off about Gutenkunst and said how poor of a record he's had drafting recently. And I'm going to stand by what I said about that with the drafting, but calling for his head, maybe that's a bit premature. So I don't think we want to beat this one to death, but,
No.
I just want to say maybe I was a little hard on Gut, and this requires further examination. And I'm going to do it this week and maybe release a video later.
All right.
But right now, I want to bring on a surprise guest to the show. Once again, he's returning. He is our favorite West Coast Packer backer. And he is here with us again. Ladies and gentlemen, Higher Point of View.
Higher Point of View. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great.
Going?
Good.
Awesome.
How y'all doing, man? Feeling
Really
good?
Thank you for the shout out last night.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to, man. I didn't want to forget anybody, but I did. But I just really appreciate, y'all fucking with me. You know how it go.
Yeah.
Victory Monday, Higher Point of View. It's been a long time since we've experienced it, or it certainly seems like it's been a long time, right? I want to get right into this Higher Point of View. We noticed last night you did a couple videos and you seem to have an attitude of gratitude. You were really thanking all your viewers. You really had a positive message for people of love and peace and those types of things. I want to ask you, in that same vein, when the Packers win on Monday, how does that affect your state of mind, and how does that kind of seep its way into your everyday life?
Again, you just can't take it for granted, because at the beginning of the year, like I said, when we was barely beating Tampa and barely beating whoever we were beating, we were still being happy about getting a victory. And one of the most reasons I was feeling that way is because, this shit is hard. It's hard to win in the NFL, especially to keep it consistent as much as we have right off of the bat with Matt LaFleur. So, I just think a lot of some of it is well-deserved, but, I think it's too much slander going on with, everybody, and everybody needs to go shit like that,
Yeah, that's a really good point. And, personally speaking, Higher Point of View, it's just on Mondays after the Packers win, things just seem a little brighter, a little more in color. And my feelings toward my fellow man just is a little kinder.
I totally agree with that. Again, coming up as a kid, I've been in rough situations in real life, and the Packers just really helped it out with just a fucking victory. And then just like, this past week when I say, you got to take care of your mentals, sometimes you just got to take a seat back and literally take care of your mentals. You don't let too many things hold up your day too much. Sometimes you just need to give your brain some relaxed time,
Absolutely. I can certainly identify with that sentiment, being one who has kind of, to be honest, struggled with depression over the years and has struggled with, other things in my childhood. So I totally echo that sentiment and say that was a great message you had last night. Isles, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I think you guys hit on it. I mean, it just, It's pretty amazing sports overall, though, that we can love a team so much that literally affects my mood for an entire damn week. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
And I mean, my wife, who loves football, but not even close to probably the level that we do, thinks I'm insane when I'm just walking around depressed on a Monday after a loss, and then today being like, "Why are you in such a good mood?" I'm like, "Of course, it's because Pack won yesterday, and so, but that's what makes life great, I guess, is just kind of putting your heart into something, whether you win or you lose, you're always with them. So
it makes a big difference, and especially this is like it's been a fucking month, So
yeah.
man, I don't think any of us thought it would take that long in between victories. So again, it was just gratitude for everything too, for everyday life stuff too. Just like you said, your wife and TR, I know your awesome wife. Packers could lose, but goddamn it, when I go to sleep and I look, I feel a little better. When my kids come in the room, I feel a little better. So that's what makes you keep other things in perspective. But let's spice it up a little bit. God damn it, it feels good to beat the fucking Cowboys.
Yeah.
Big Mike throwing the headset down, fucking shit up at the end like he normally does. Now, now with that being said, you guys, I do want to say, it's the victory. We're celebrating it because it's been so long, but I don't think we should be celebrating it because of the opponent, because this is a guy who we've had for years, who we've seen do the same kind of thing. So Mike McCarthy led team going on a road. I don't think that's like a big hill to climb for us. So be happy about the victory, but we still got our fucking work cut out.
Are you kicking that field goal at the end if you're him on 4th and 3 or whatever it was? Are you kicking there?
I would.
Seriously, you would? What yard line though? They were at?
Would have been a 52-yard field goal on a cold night in Green Bay.
The wind was the opposite way though, right?
That I don't know.
Or it's kind of tricky.
Yeah.
It's always tricky, but
yeah.
It's a tough call.
It is a tough call because you're right. In Lambeau, and that field looked pretty beat up by the end of the game. Like there was guys sliding around. I think there was one play with Dylan, right, where he had looked like a pretty big hole and he kind of slipped.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh shit, this field's getting out of control. So I don't know. It's 50-50, I think. But he made some other calls too that he's just once in a while. Because didn't he always have problems with clock management a little bit, right? He's a big clock management guy.
Yeah, he's always screwed that up.
That's the reason they lost their playoff game last year.
Yeah. Couldn't you call the freaking threw the flag out on that one play where it was not a complete catch on that one drive? He couldn't.
No, he couldn't because that was under 2 minutes left.
So
it would have to come from the booth, all those replays. So we got away with one there, I think.
Yeah.
And shit, I'll take it, right?
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Many times we've been screwed, definitely.
Yeah. And to be honest, the Big Mike thing, I mean, I like to beat him, but I am very happy, and I to my dying days, I'll be happy whenever we can beat Jerry Jones.
Oh yeah.
And one of the reasons is that I've heard Cheesehead TV guys talk about this, and it's very true, where they talk about how if Jerry Jones had his way, he would wipe the Packers off the map. He would like to get rid of revenue sharing. He wants to get rid of the salary cap. Basically, he wants to turn the NFL into what like Major League Baseball is, where you can just basically buy your team.
Yeah.
And that makes me sick, because doing that would kill the Packers. They simply don't have the revenue streams in a big city that everyone else does.
Yeah.
And what makes the NFL great is the parity, I feel.
Yeah.
How do you all feel about that?
I mean, it's great. It sucks to be on the other side of it, because they also got some crazy stat that I don't know if it's half anymore, but half the teams that make the playoffs previous years don't make it the next year. You know what I'm saying? So what we were doing over that 9-year stretch with Big Mike, and then over this 3 or 4 year stretch with LaFleur, was pretty high standard. The only thing we fucking missing is the rings, but you could put our record up there with the Bill Belichick's and Sean Payton's from certain times with Mike McCarthy. And then LaFleur comes in and just wins every game. So, but when it comes to this owner thing too, we could all wish for owner. I'm not as a Packer fan, but okay, you want an owner, but what if you get a bonehead one? What if you get one like a Jerry Jones? Because Jerry Jones, the way he wants the NFL structure, basically says he really doesn't really have the full football knowledge, but he has the money to pay for whatever needs to happen, you know?
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and we were talking about that with KH. Was that last week? No, it was the week before that.
Yep.
Where it's just like the Packers, their organization is set up like a business. They run it like a business, right? And if you have an owner, you're going to be stuck with the owner forever. Now we're stuck with Mike Murphy for another 2 years, and then he has to retire. The bylaw says he has to retire, and we can get rid of his goofy ass. But with that said, I think he's done a real good job generating revenue streams for the Packers. What he's done with Titletown in the whole area. So higher point of view, we got to get you out there so you can see what it's like there someday, right?
Yeah. I can't wait. And on top of that, TR, do you think that Goot's role will change? Do you think he'll get more aggressive? Do you think it'll change either way when Murphy does leave, or the script is just going to continue to be the same?
That's a good question. And I think, the changing of the guard there might end Goot's tenure, right? Because I think his contract lines up pretty good with what Murphy's timeline is, right? We were just talking before you came on a higher point of view. I was saying maybe I was a little hard on Goot. The last couple of weeks I've been really railing on him, and I stand behind everything I said about the draft. But he's made some key acquisitions in season last year with Rasul as an example. That he's done some good things, and I can't rail on him too hard.
He's got a couple of gems now. When you could like develop guys that are like middle tiers, like okay, but we got a guy in Kenny Clark who's he could be a star at his position, top 5 maybe at his position. Jair, top 5 at his position. So and we also have the Ty Summers, the Orenbergs. So I mean it's a crapshoot to begin with anyway for any fucking body. So I'm neutral on it. It could be better, but it could be worse.
Yeah, I think one quick thing, Isles, and I'll let you talk. Sorry, bud.
No worries.
I'm hogging the mic. Sorry. But one thing, to be fair, I haven't looked at other teams' drafts and kind of compared, their hit and miss ratios compared to what the Packers do. I think if you can get 3 solid starters out of every draft, and hopefully one of those 2 a Pro Bowl player, you're doing pretty good. 3 to 4 starters solid and a Pro Bowler. So
I think
that's my take.
The only other part of it, I think, that a lot of fans, including us, probably have wanted that he hasn't pulled off is just with how close we've gotten to the Super Bowl so many times in the past 5-6 years or whatever, especially in the last 3 years, making that one move, taking a big sacrifice to get the one huge impact player at the right time, adding this huge piece to make a Super Bowl run. Now, granted, you're up against salary cap issues or other things, but at some point it would have been sweet, like last year or something like that, to pick up somebody big and put them in it right at the last moment to try to make a big run. It seems like draft wise, like you're saying, if you get a certain player in there that's good and you're drafting a certain percentage of that is good and you're doing that over the long haul, that's one thing. But to make a mid-season move that's huge, or to, like we talked about on our last podcast, of maybe bundling some of those picks to move way up to get a huge impact player, something that like that would be a blessing around here over the past couple of years,
I think it'll definitely help, but I just got to be honest, y'all. We were in prime position, I say 3 years in a row, to get one fucking Super Bowl. Prime position every time. That was the shot there. That time, when we were happy about those four guys they got, Preston, Zadarius, that was big. That was them. Look, we're paying for it now still. So I just think we missed out on, and God, it sucks that it's a David Bakhtiari that goes out. Because again, if this guy played, and look at him now, still not even, and he's making a fucking difference. Him in that Tampa game would have helped us. We just, had some unfortunate injuries. I'm not trying to use that as an excuse, but this is our best player on the team, basically, kind of. So we can't. That's like LeBron being hurt. That's a liable excuse, but nobody ain't gonna want to hear that shit. But I think we left too many opportunities on the table, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Anytime you lose an all-pro player off your team, that's a big loss. Period.
Yep.
And you're going to feel that. So, higher point of view, I wanted to ask you one other thing here, besides the victory Monday. The last 5 weeks, things have been really screwed up. This week seemed great. The energy level looked great. Do you have any opinions on what changed this past week? Any speculation, any conspiracy theories, anything? What changed to make them come out and play good?
That's a good question. I'm just gonna say, panic button. Maybe. And again, we as much as mad we've been losing 5 in a row, I'm sure they have too. We got some prideful guys in the locker room, so I just think this was like a man thing, being a man. Like, man, listen, we lost 5 in a row. We at home. Everybody's counting us out. It's only so many times we could use that speech, before we get knocked out. So this is that. Again, we in the corner, we're wobbly, our knees is wobbling, but we got one good shot to, throw a punch and stay in this fight, So
Yeah.
I just think the panic kind of settled in. Not panic, but they start looking at these records too after a while, and that we weren't sitting good. We got to get back to 500. So
Yeah.
because I think it's actually the opposite, because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with Matt LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers. What's something's going on between them, and for us to still be winning, and just like we won this last game to do it, but all that losing that we did, I feel like when McCarthy was here, when after every fucking series, him and Mike McCarthy and Aaron are looking at each other like, what's going on? Like, it's too much of that right now. They need to get that shit straight.
Yeah. Well, I think there was an elevated sense of urgency last night, for sure. And one other quick thing, and then I want to address the LaFleur thing and Rodgers thing. But I think it was pretty obvious after last night that they have plans for Watson. And unfortunately, the previous few weeks, he's gotten nicked up, taken out of games, this and that. And it's kind of pretty clear they had some plans for him. And thank God he broke out last night and had a fantastic game. And if he can bring that type of threat to the offense, things are going to loosen up a little bit. So, Isles, we were right before Higher Point of View got on. We mentioned the little spat between what looked like a little spat between Rodgers and LaFleur. What are your thoughts on that? What Higher Point of View said?
I'm kind of thinking it's got to come down to obviously play calling in this time period. I feel like because of the receiver thing until last night, I think the Watson thing was a huge thing to open up. That one pass almost felt like it changed the entire season. Like it just changed the complexity of their offense in that one moment in time. But leading up to there, I really feel like because things have not been going well, that LaFleur's gotten tighter and tighter and more conservative on the play calling. And Rodgers, in his mind, is still the two-time MVP, wanting at times to be given the ball to go out and win the game, regardless of what's out there on the field. And last night, like we talked about before Higher Point of View got on, I just feel like that one pass to Watson opened up the whole thing, and that really gave Rodgers the confidence back of like, I'm going to go out and win this freaking game for us. And then at that moment in time, it just felt like this conservative play calling coming in from LaFleur. And that's where I think Rodgers just lost his shit. Like, give me the freaking ball to go win this football game right now.
Yeah, specifically, he wanted to have the decision to make those calls, right?
Yeah.
Because when they're running a 2-minute offense, that's solely on Rodgers usually.
Yep.
So
Did y'all hear what he said though during the press conference?
Yes.
That was, bro. And Aaron, he chooses his words. Like, he don't just go out there and say anything. They asked him something about the last drive or what was wrong with it. He said every single play call.
Yeah.
That's some. That got to get fixed. We can't. I just remember it's like PTSD. Right after a play, McCarthy and Aaron just every fucking play. I'm like, if you guys are having a battle within each other, you're not gonna win a battle on the field. Like,
Yeah.
So somebody's got to dumb it down. I don't know. We just got to figure out what the problem is, because if we were against a better team, we would lose. But right back on the Christian Watson thing, TR, and Isles, just think about it as a coach. I'm not giving excuses for Matt LaFleur, but Buffalo. Oh, we got Watson. We got 4 or 5 plays that we're going to hit him with. The first play this fool catches the ball, he gets hurt. So as a coach, you had all this shit planned for him. You didn't plan, especially in the first drive, for him to get hurt. So that's a mind fuck too as a coach. Like, goddamn, we just did most of the game plan around this kid. Now we got to change it up. We got, so people don't look at stuff like that. But that's big. And just like Isle said, man, and we not exaggerating, bro. That one motherfucking play could change the whole season, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
The ironic thing about it too is, if you think about it, would life be different if he would have caught the very first pass of the freaking season?
Hey, would life be different if Aaron fucking went back to him? Now he's in panic mode himself. So he's like, now Aaron's like, okay, I got to go back to you. He even went to him after and said, hey, bro, you still going to get the ball. So that was leadership. Thanks, Aaron, for taking time to go over there and help the kid out. He was probably feeling bad. He's been through this before. It's a nightmare situation. For you to tell him that he going to get it again, now in his head, he's like, okay, this next one I got to come down with. And fucking good route. Hey, on the 9 route, he did an inside release. They normally do an outside release, and that was some funky leg movement with him. Even Aaron Rodgers said, I didn't know he was going to do an inside release, but that threw him off. When you just go on the outside, they like, oh, he going deep. When you go on the inside, you could be going on a slant, but when he cut it back on the out, beautiful.
Yeah. That was not an easy catch, too, actually. Yeah. No.
Dude was on him right on. That was a great play, man.
Yeah. Great route. And personally, what I think's happening with those two dudes is that, they've had 3 years where everything seemed pretty easy between them. You go through a stretch of 5 games where you're losing all the time. There's going to be frustration. There's a little tug of war going on there. I think hopefully Matt LaFleur seems like a pretty level-headed dude who's pretty flexible. I think he's, I think him and Rodgers will get on the same page. I'm not really worried about that unless we start seeing it happen more and more. So, and another thing about the Watson thing is, of course, Rodgers was going to go back to him because he really didn't have anyone else. And right. When you were just talking there, it made me realize, I'm thinking last week against Detroit, when Sammy Watkins was out there running all the wrong routes, it got me to thinking, well, did they have to switch Sammy to the position that they had planned Watson for? So maybe Sammy was trying to pick up the plays that was originally designed for Christian, and he wasn't accustomed to it.
Very
confused by it. So, football is a really complex game, and people don't understand everything that goes into it. So, hopefully, with our great football minds, we can enlighten some lost souls out there.
Hey, they got to run that ball. We know that, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm. Run it with your superstar, especially if you're not going to bring him back next year. Make sure you get your money's worth out of him this year. But that's another topic for.
Okay, I was gonna say, y'all want to get into that now?
Go ahead, say your piece with that, man.
Isles TR. I know it's a lot of fucking money, but I think Aaron is reasonable to talk and negotiate, extension and all that. But we fucking need Aaron Jones. Yes, we need him.
Yeah,
we really do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta overpay for certain shit. Sometimes you just gotta do it.
Yeah. We got to look at other places to trim the fat, as they say, right?
He's great. He's great on so many levels too. He seems like the coolest guy, which I'm sure having him around the locker room is a huge deal. He can freaking catch it. You can line him up as a wideout, and shit, he's just great at finding the holes and getting yards from the backfield. I mean, the guy's unreal.
And so he's there early too. When nobody's practicing, they in shorts. He doesn't miss it. That shows leadership, man.
Yeah. He's
top to bottom. Top to bottom, he's a great guy, great player, great everything. I'm so happy he's a Packer, and I want him to be a Packer for his whole career.
Yep.
Yeah. So, higher point of view. Isles created something for you that he wanted to share. I
Yeah.
know. I don't know higher point of view. I know you're big into rap. You're a connoisseur with rap and music, hip hop. I don't know. We don't know if you've ever actually performed. Have you? A little bit,
Yes.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I used to want to do it really bad. I was a part of a little group and shit, but nothing
Awesome.
major. Nothing major, but for sure. I could spit a 16, you know, like not right now, but you know, I could,
Sure.
you know, I could come up, I could get on the track and do some damage, basically.
I was
believe it.
watching your video. Well, I watched both of your videos, and you were doing shout outs on like both videos, and one was more dedicated to shout outs. And it just, you did this one part, which is going to be in this clip we're going to show you, and it happens later on. But when you did it, I was like, it just dawned on me that this guy is like, I play drums, you know, for fun. And so time is very important. And I just, all of a sudden when you did that, I was like, oh my God, this dude is like in perfect time. Like even you'll notice in this that you'll get off time, but it's almost like your internal clock will like sync right back into time. And you were almost in perfect 120 beats per minute when you were giving shout outs to people. So it's like a white guy's version of trying to help you out be a cool rapper because your voice is so cool, you know? It's awesome.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think my life and rapping really helped me out with this because I walk and pace around the house and like, wifey, like, what you doing? I'm like, I'm doing my show. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm doing it in my head first. So when I get in front of the camera, it felt like I did it before. It's kind of like a freestyle. Like you'll go in and hear the beat. You'll come back out, write something to it and go do it. So I kind of freestyle my show in my head before I actually go on there. That's why, you know, I go through so many phones. It sucks. I got so many bloopers because again, I one take it. If I fuck up in the middle and say some shit I just don't like, I'll cut it off and do another one. So I wish I could have saved it, but I got to find some bloopers at some point. But that is totally hip hop. So for y'all to pick that up, I mean, y'all already know y'all my people anyway. I think y'all both dope as fuck, cool ass white boys, and you know, and like straight up, like I definitely won't have no problem having no beer or smoking with either one of y'all for real.
Not at all.
No doubt.
Not at all. And, you know, I think I've mentioned before, Owls and I, for fun, sometimes we do songs. And I think usually in the winter time, when we can't get out and golf or do something, we start picking up and doing some music. So this is something Owls did, and I'm going to share it with you right here. So I'm going to add it.
Shout out to Texas. Shout out to Philip, the love is real. Reggie White is his avatar. Nice avatar. Shout out to you, bro. Okay? God damn it. Shout out to Milto. Shout out to John Bainey. Shout out to, hold up. Shout out to my boy. Hey, shout out to Georgia. Shout out to my boy Freddie Roper. What's good with you? Hey, shout out to Zane Strong. Shout out to motherfucking Hawaii. Shout out to motherfucking Alaska, bro. Hey, I used to watch Alaska State Troopers. I used to be like, man, I could start a drug ring in that bitch, you know? They so lenient with their laws and shit. In California shit, you get caught with a gun, you over with, bro. So, hey, shout out to y'all. Shout out to my boy Isaiah. What? M-I. Crooked letter I. Crooked letter I. Humpback I. Shout out to the whole motherfucking Mississippi, man. Shout out to Gooseby. Shout out to Philadelphia. Shout out to the whole 215, bro. Shout out to the 19138 zip code over in that motherfucking Philadelphia. I told you I'm all over the place. Shout out to the fucking East Coast. Shout out to motherfucking New York. My boy, who wants smoke? Shout out to you, dog. Keep doing your shit, bro. Keep on grinding. Keep on rapping. Do whatever you need to do.
Dude, that is the bomb.
Yeah.
I'm so honored that you took the time, bro. Seriously, bro. Like, I can't wait. Yeah, I need that shit. I need that shit. That hey, I'm overwhelmed, bro. I really appreciate that. That shit was fly too. It sounded like I didn't even notice it like that. I was just my mind. I'm like, I gotta remember everybody. I don't want to forget people. And then
Dude,
I start saying the state from and shit. It just got out of hand.
What was that double crooked letter? What the hell? How did you pull that out of your ass?
That's how we spell Mississippi. When I was younger, and I forgot to tell y'all, When I was younger, bro, I was a spelling bee champ, bro. 6th grade. You know, I stopped because I started fooling around and shit. But I beat this one Asian kid named Steve. He thought he had me. They told me arithmetic. I said ARITHIETIC. Well, I can't. I'm high. I can't do it right now. But I knocked that shit out. And I noticed that a rat in the house might eat the ice cream. So I was rapping, and that's how I spell arithmetic. So Mississippi is too long and it's tricky with the S's. So I just quicker letter, and I turned it more into like a song kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's
I don't
awesome.
know. I don't know a lot about rap, but one of my favorite things that you do when you do that, when you're doing the Mississippi, is you kind of get ahead of the beat a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're like a lot of people, especially white dudes, they always just stay right in time, and that's why it sounds lame. But you get like ahead of the beat there, and it's freaking kick ass.
Yeah.
That was the part where I was like, dude, he's like rapping right now. This is crazy cool how good that was.
I was like really good. Like I wanted to do it, but you know, again, higher point of view, I overthink things, and just what came with it, I just didn't want it. You know, I wanted some of the stuff that came with it, but I didn't want some of the stuff that's going to come with it. So I just had to step back, you know. But hey, I might be ghostwriting for somebody or something like that.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Yeah, like Isles was just saying, you know, you can really see how you're pushing the pocket, or other times you lean back a little. Like what made the Rolling Stones like a cool band is the bassist was always ahead and the drummer was always behind. So it had this weird wobbliness to it, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think most people don't listen to music closely, don't realize why these things are good, right? You don't always want to say it. No. Like what Isles is saying.
Yeah. I have a weird relationship with music. Like I could watch a movie, and even with movies though, like I could watch a movie I haven't seen in years and it'll be on and I'll start saying it word for word, and wife's looking like, I'm like, I don't know. I know when certain parts of the movie has a song come in, like on key, like boom, boom, I'll sing the song as soon as it's time to stop. Like somebody in the movie is listening to a song on the radio. When they stopped it, I'll stop. Like, I don't know. I just have a weird way of memorizing things, but I always remember numbers and just remember stuff really good.
Yeah. So music really attaches itself to your brain like a lot of us do. We just, you know, and I think you, Higher Point of View, he's passed along some rappers for me to check out. A lot of them I already knew, but didn't dig into very closely. And I'm forever grateful about DJ Quick, because that was my favorite that you showed me. That stuff.
If I ever come up with a story time, he would be in it because I met him before. So, that shit was great. But yeah, in a nutshell, I'll just drop it here. I'm at the movie theater and I'm getting popcorn. So I done buttered my shit up already. And I'm walking, towards to go see where my movie is. This motherfucker walked by. I'm like, I'm tough and shit. So I'm like, that's fucking DJ Quick. And he went over there to start ordering. So he went in line. So as I was walking, I said, fuck this shit. I went back to put more butter on my popcorn so I could have an interaction with him. And I'm like, oh, what's up, Quick? And he said, what's up to me? He shook my hand and shit. I'm like, bro, I'm a big fan. And I told him about the gangbang stuff, So, and he was like, oh, okay. And he was, bro, I'm just so glad I got to shake the man's hand, because he brought me through life. Just like Factors brought me through victories. A lot of his music, have a rough day, just listen to some of that shit. It's like, okay, somebody else goes through this kind of shit and done it before. So now I got to get through this shit,
Yeah. That's awesome how music can do that for you. It's powerful shit.
It really is. It really gets you through tough times. And I want to pick that up at some time, Higher Point of View, with you, explore a little more about rap and hip hop, things that I'm not as familiar with. And
anytime.
And I thought it would be fun for us at some point. We'll just do something not Packers related, and we'll like share a song and do like reactions. Like those are really popular on the internet,
I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. That's another thing. I'm like, damn, I want to talk about so much other stuff, but this is a Packer channel. I can't just start talking about some totally other motherfuckers. Gonna be like, what about Aaron Rodgers? So I've been trying to figure that part out, But hey, I would love to do that with y'all for sure.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun, and we'll certainly do those things. Well, I know is there I know Isles is a bit on a time crunch. Is there I want to do one more quick thing, guys. I'm talking
Sharpen it.
about sharpening the knife.
They will call sharpening the knife, especially on the gland penis. Rub them 50 times.
What do the Packers need to do to sharpen the knife to beat the Tennessee Titans this Thursday? I'll start with higher point of view.
Tackle. Tackle. And
Yeah.
that's on the defensive side of the ball, and on the offensive side of the ball, just we always said, and it just hasn't happened with injuries. We always said we're not fucking replacing Devontae. It's going to be a receiver by committee. This past week, if you look at the receivers' numbers, I don't care what name is under the numbers, but if we get that as a whole from our receivers, that's how we gonna win games, man. And then that turns into the play action because we got two good backs. So like, again, just spreading that ball around, man. That's what we got to do. We got weapons now, Hey, the Hammy showed up. A couple guys,
Yeah.
All of the receivers had at least 10 to 12 to 15 yards per catch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isles, what do you say?
I think you nailed it on defense, and we've been saying it all year, is the tackling's just got to be with that big bastard coming at you all game long, right? And when was that last year or 2 years ago when they were damn good and they came to Lambeau and we kicked their ass, it was because defense showed up and stopped him and forced the pass, and then we get turnovers. We got a same damn game plan and have to execute. On offense, maybe the only thing, like you're saying, I thought yesterday when they played with this looseness that I really liked. And it would be cool, though, to see like Lazard and a Watson or get them to kind of complement each other really well so you don't know who they're going with. Lazard's such a great blocker. And it's kind of like when Watson's having this big day, you kind of lose sight of Lazard and some of the, grunt work that he's doing to make things happen. But yet he's still a damn good receiver. And if we can kind of mix that up so it's not so obvious of who we're throwing the ball to, I think that could be a big help. I don't want to see Rodgers get into that deal again where he was with Adams. Although Adams is awesome, you just felt like he was always looking for Adams. If we can get into this more, hey, we're going to give it to Dillon, we're going to give it to Jones, we're going to give it to Lazard, we're going to give it to Watson, we're going to give it to, Sammy Watkins, that's where they could be dangerous and really make a run. So,
yeah.
What about you,
just
Chad?
To add on your Adams thing,
Yep.
we seen that shit could get you through the regular season, but when it's playoff time, every time it was critical, whether it was when we lost to Tampa, lost to San Francisco, we got a Rodgers throwing to a double cover Devontae and somebody else is running wide open. We cannot have that. We can't have it.
Exactly right.
Completely agree.
They knew what was coming.
Yeah.
I know. Those two series that you're talking about in those last two NFC championship games, that one where they were down by the goal line against Tampa, it was like forcing it to Adams the whole time when others are open. And then last year, the bomb into double coverage or whatever was just wide open. Who was in the middle of the field? It was Lazard, I think, that was like wide open. Yeah. So
maybe Aaron should have ran, but again, if Bakhtiari was in that game, that pressure might not have come from that side, and the play might have been different. But that's where we at right now, y'all.
Yep,
absolutely. So I guess to sharpen the knife, I'll say yes, we got to tackle better. So what does that mean? I think hopefully we get Campbell back this week, but my gut tells me that they're going to rest him another week. And get that mini bye and get him more healthy. So what I'm hoping to see is a heavy dose of Nixon and Ford in the defensive backfield, playing almost like a hybrid type linebacker safety position. And I want to see Savage solely playing in the slot, covering slot, and otherwise. I don't want to see Savage out there right now. He's not playing under control, and he's a very poor tackler. Offensively, I want to see them continue to use bunch formations. I think what we saw in specifically that route you mentioned, higher point of view, about Watson. He released inside off a bunch route. So that is another way that you can get off the line without getting jammed and kind of wrestled, right? You're either going to do that with motion or the bunch formations. So I want to see more of that, and I want to see more continued use of this motion, pre-snap motion in the backfield, and get these guys, coming off the line clean out. Whether it's DeGuara coming across and making these key blocks in the run game, or releasing out for a pattern, they got a head of steam. They're getting off the line clean. I love those types of looks. And I want to see Rodgers hit Tunyon and DeGuara and the guys down the middle of the field. I want them to start using that part of the field a little more. And then I think we'll have a good chance to win this game, honestly. Hold Henry under 100 yards like we did last time. Good chance to win. So that is my take on that.
On the last thing about this Ford and Savage thing, like, I don't know how many angles y'all looked at it, but bro, Ford, what an interception. Like, Savage doesn't have that in him. Savage would have been not in the right place. He probably would have let the guy catch the ball, and then he would have just tackled him after. Rudy, he made the move before the ball was like, he had instinct on there. Yes. Savage, again, we need to keep him in the star role, whatever they want to call it, the slot. But like, bro, I would love to see more Rudy Ford, and I hope they do it. There should be no reason that Savage is out there at that position, at safety.
Totally agreed. I'm sure we're going to have a lot more to talk about in the coming weeks. Hey, man, this is so much fun to have you on. I thank you, Higher Point of View, for coming on again. You're our first repeat guest, and God, you can come anytime you want.
Yep.
I am honored, man. I am honored. And look, I could go another hour, man, but I really appreciate you guys' time for letting me come on here and just shoot the shit, man. So, you know.
So everyone, get over on Higher Point of View's page, subscribe, you know the deal. And, thanks for watching this, and we'll see you all next week. Go Pack!
Go Pack!
Go Pack!